was out shopping, and I saw this in the cask full of liquor aisle, and I grabbed a few. Several hundred.
You can't get rid of him. He's everywhere. Thank you. Much better.
So welcome back to the Happy Hour, guys. We are here at Stranahan's Colorado Whiskey, and we're with Jake Norris, who is the head distiller here. Jake, welcome to the Happy Hour, guys.
Thank you very much.
Do you have a really cool nickname, or should I just call you Jake?
Jake's pretty cool.
All right, we haven't been to a distillery in a while, so why don't we run through the process of just how this stuff gets made. In particular, a mature, barrel-aged, utterly unique, incredibly American whiskey like Stranahan's. Jake's going to run us through this in a more complete way in a couple of minutes, but here are the Cliff's Notes. Malting, grinding or mashing, brewing, fermentation, distillation, and maturation. Oh, then you got to put it in a bottle. You guys are new to this particular facility, is that right?
Yeah, we actually just moved into this facility about 3 months ago. We're still building systems. We're growing at such a rate that we needed to about triple.
No, I don't think this one's ripe yet.
So we bought this facility and this equipment, and we're just kind of taking it to the next level. When we make our whiskey, we make it out of 100% malted barley, which is a little bit different from most American whiskeys. A bourbon's going to contain at least 51% corn. We're 100% malted barley. We get 80% of our 80-some% of our barley from right here in Colorado.
Local. It's local, people. Listen, it's grain mashing. Step 2. What do we got, Jake?
So it's going to go through the mill. It gets cracked and it comes over here into this mash tun. We can actually look inside. They've added liquid to the barley, and now they're going to strain off that liquid, leaving the grain solids behind, and those liquids will go over here into the brew kettle.
It sure smells good.
Yeah, that smell-o-vision will be a wonderful invention.
When can we get that? Is that in the next incarnation after HD?
So this is the brew kettle after we extract the sugars and flavor from the barley over here. That kind of barley tea gets pumped over here into this kettle where it's boiled.
Be careful, Mark. Look out.
It's just like Deadliest Catch.
Now we're moving to the really, really big tanks.
Yeah, these are our fermenters here. We've got 3 at 60 barrels and 1 at 100 barrels. After we boil that barley tea, so to speak, in the brew kettle, is going to go into one of these fermenters. It's chilled down. To that, we add 60 gallons of our proprietary yeast. This is actually, now that you mentioned that, it is a sanitary fermentation process, which is very unusual for a micro distillery. Most distilleries do an open air fermentation, which is where you would use a big open vat and you would just put your grain in that in your hot water, and then you'd pitch your yeast in. But being open to the air, it can also be cultivated by wild yeast and bacteria. We actually control the temperature in these tanks to get an extended fermentation.
Hey, is that a rabbit over there? A 500-pound bear. I don't think that's going to... Next step in the process.
After it's fully fermented, we get that complete attenuation. We harvest off the yeast that we're going to use for the next batch, and then that wash is going to go through this filter right here.
So you guys are doing things as a micro distillery that some people not only aren't doing, but aren't even thinking of doing.
They're thinking of it now. We're going to actually preheat the wash before it goes into the stills. We'll do this using solar heat and reclaimed thermal waste from our other systems, trying to be as green as we can. Our spent grain actually goes to feed livestock as well, so we're trying to figure out as many ways as we can to be green. It's the dawn of a new era. Why should I spend the fuel and the money and everything to truck perfectly good, the same grain from across the world when I can buy it locally, support my local farmers, and cut down the carbon footprint.
3 words we like here at the Happy Hour, guys. Local, local. Can you guess what the third one is?
Mark, what are you doing?
I'm still.
Our stills are very, very unique. We're the first people to use this kind of still commercially. It's called a pot column, meaning that it incorporates the best of a pot still and the best of a column still.
But wait, have you seen this? Sorry, don't mean to steal your thunder.
Do it. You fired up.
No,
you say it first.
I like it when you say
You first. When I get enough to do a doubling run or the second, the spirit run, I'll pump it from that over here into the spirit still. These stills were custom made for us by Vendome Copper Works out of Louisville, Kentucky.
Wow.
They're the oldest, greatest still makers in this country. And they are just geniuses. So we worked closely with them in designing these stills to meet our recipe.
Is it me or is Jake getting a little angry? So what we really need to talk about now is the magic of wood. Aging whiskey in wood changes it completely. There's a magic at